I'm AJ Green. You're watching NFL in London.
That means the podcast has started recording. I might just put the light on behind you.
No, that's a terrible start to the podcast.
It's not, because the podcast has started, the video podcast.
The worst. How does that look?
That looks better because now you've got backlight. See? This is behind the scenes that the people in the video now know.
Still a terrible start.
It's
worst start ever.
Fuck you.
Start again.
No, we're starting this now. That's the video.
We
just started the podcast, Ryan. Tricky Dicky.
Technical difficulties.
It's all technical stuff here. NFL in London podcast. Wade and Ryan here. It is the Week 3 review. Ryan and I are going to go through
It's already going too fast, to be honest with you, the NFL.
I know we're in Week 4. We're going to Week 4.
Then it's going to be Christmas, and then it's going to be the Patriots.
It's over.
Then it's going to be the Patriots winning the Super
And then
Bowl.
we're going to have another 6 months of going, where's the NFL? What's happening?
I love it so much, I just don't want it to ever go. I want it to be on 52 weeks a year. I want them to be like wrestlers, where they just destroy their bodies so much.
Just for us, for our entertainment.
That they end up killing themselves.
It's like a puppy, you want to keep a puppy forever.
Yeah, it's just, it's been great. You know what? The one thing I'll say about this season, which I've noticed, at the beginning of the season, I had this thing in my head where it was just like, every team seems like they know what they're doing, and they're starting to get it together. They're all getting a quarterback, and they're all putting the pieces in place. And now I'm like 3 weeks in, I'm like 80% of the teams are terrible. It feels like it just doesn't feel like at the beginning of the season you looked at your schedule and you're like, Jesus, this is gonna be so many difficult games unless you're Patriots fans and you don't even look at the schedule. You're like 13-3. But when I was looking at it, I was just like, man, everyone's schedule looks difficult. And now that you've seen them play, you're like, I think we could beat half these teams. It's a very wide open, other than Chiefs, Patriots, wide open, and Cowboys, wide open.
Well, it still is only Week 3. And a lot of times we have to know that until Week 5...
Injuries are coming.
It's like when people say, my child's a genius, but he's only 3.
Yeah.
You know, you got to wait. He's a little older.
He counts at a grade 5 level.
Exactly. But let's wait for a bit, because injuries and the injury bug, I mean, you picked the Steelers and the Eagles, and look, they could...
You don't have to mention that every...
No, I'm going to mention this because they could come back.
Listen, I think the Eagles, I still stand by. You know why? Because the NFC, to me, is not as impressive as I thought it was going to be. A lot of the teams I thought were going to be dominant have been okay. Like Atlanta's been a massive disappointment. Carolina's now screwed. You got New Orleans who has to play with Bridgewater. NFC is just as wide open as the AFC as far as I'm concerned.
Injuries equalize the whole league, and so I mean a lot of these teams you're going to have
the great equalizer.
The great equalizer of a lot of these guys. This has gone off, so we'll bring this back on. Now everyone knows my passcode.
That's true.
You and my daughter.
Some asshole's going to hijack you.
Yeah, and play my Star Trek game. So we're going to go through some of the predictions. Ryan and I made our predictions last week. He went 8-8. I went 14-2.
Listen, for me, 8-8 is 8-8 is my 14-2.
It is.
To be honest with you, I very rarely even crack 8-8, so I'm taking that as a win.
There's a couple of the.
You have nowhere to go but down.
No, I do. No, I can go to 16-0. That's what I can go to.
Absolutely not.
And it's what I have. I did have two 16-0 weeks last season. So
I don't believe you. I'd have to check the books.
We will go through the books, and I did humbly.
There is no way, because I'll tell you why. Because if you would have had a 16-0, I would have never heard the fucking end of it. And the fact that I don't remember you ever saying this to me means that it definitely did not exist.
I didn't bring up in the one pool that I went undefeated.
Maybe if it was a different pool, but if you're talking about our picks...
Oh, man. Look.
You definitely didn't go 16-0.
Did we not talk about the Trump bet earlier on?
Yeah, that was a long time.
I know, right? So you
forget
that was one
bet. That wasn't 16 bets.
No, it was two weeks that I got perfect.
Not in ours.
In our picks, in my picks, in my pick'ems. When I've got the records to prove it, we can go through it.
They could be doctored.
They could be doctored. They
will 100%.
But you can check my picks this week.
Anyway,
look, at the end of the day, let's do it. So let's start. Denver Broncos 0-2 went into Green Bay 2-0. Ryan had predicted this one a 28-17. I predicted this one 24-17.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
We're pretty close. 27-16.
Right on,
yeah.
To be honest with you.
Both pretty much within 2 points of the game. And so in terms of the game, I mean, look, Green Bay doesn't look great.
Well, no, Green Bay looks great defensively. It's just really, but to be fair to them, they have gone against some pretty good defenses. They've started the first 3 weeks of the season going against the Bears, the Vikings, and now the Broncos.
Yeah.
Now
Eagles next
really
week,
good defense. You got Eagles next week. So Aaron Rodgers hasn't been lighting it up, but I think once that schedule lightens up and he plays a bit easier defense, you're going to see the Aaron Rodgers of old. and I can take him off my bench in fantasy. Which
Well,
would
he
be
has
nice.
not cracked the top 15
Yeah, he's
in
been.
any week in fantasy.
I don't even think he's gotten 15 points.
No, he hasn't.
Weeks.
He's not cracked.
He's been terrible, but he hasn't been terrible because he hasn't thrown an interception. He's been safe with the ball. He doesn't need to do that. So it's a different Green Bay team. You know what? They're all impressive wins. Those are two really good games. I think we all know the Joe Flacco experiment is over. And the problem is they have no one else to go to, right? So you're just stuck with Joe Flacco. There's no, who are you going to go to? They're going to ride this out. They should have kept Chad Kelly.
Yeah, maybe.
They could have been putting him in and seeing what he's up to. But Denver's in a real bad spot. They have 0 sacks from a team that has Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. And I don't know what they have. Denver, to me, seems like a team that's completely lost.
Denver's the new Cleveland.
And then you wonder, like, a guy like, let's not go that
They
far.
could be.
Like a guy like Von Miller, right, as he gets older, does he want to sit through a rebuild for the next 4 years? Because Von Miller is still one of the best
he's good pass rush. Yeah.
But right now, we're not even talking. Like, no one's even mentioned his name in 3 weeks. So I think, does he go the route of once they see they blow this thing up like they did in Miami? Because I think that's what's going to happen. I think Von Miller's going to get traded because he's their number one. They could get a first-round pick for Von Miller, 100%.
Well, what you should do is a Jalen Ramsey and say, I'm out of here, I'm leaving,
well,
and then have to show baback up again.
Apparently he has a sickness and he's has a hamstring injury and he's just staying away.
Yeah.
I don't like this NBA, let's force our way off a team so we can get... It's
I'm
upsetting.
going to my friends.
But to be honest with you, when it comes to wide receivers and defensive backs, it's so common that they're all divas and they're all insane. So it's just, you know, that's what happens when you draft a cornerback 5th overall. You know, you got to take the risk that he's a diva and he's going to run off the team.
He's a pretty boy.
But big win for the Packers. I look forward to seeing 3-0, and that defense is killer. Right now, I think Green Bay is probably the second best team in the NFC. I think Dallas right now is the best.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some great battles coming in. Like the NFC playoffs is going to be awesome, especially if you get another Green Bay-Dallas game. That would be so much fun.
To me, Green Bay looks like one of those waiters who's carrying lots of trays of glasses and they're about to walk down the stairs. That's what's going to happen to them.
Rodgers is not as injured as you said, though. He's still playing.
He's still, look, man.
He's still playing.
They've scraped by. They're not the Green Bay of old. Aaron Rodgers is not the Aaron Rodgers of old. And the team, well, you know what? There's a lot of teams that went 5-0 last year. Here's the teams we talked about 5-0 last year. And look how sucked they went from there. Let's move on to the next game. Hey, there's a game I picked and Ryan followed me into it. I said Detroit was going to beat up Philadelphia. He agreed with me. I
agreed with your assessment. So.
You agreed with my assessment. And guess what?
I don't feel like every pick should be about how well you did and how shitty I did.
That's
all I'll say.
That's what an abusive relationship is, Ryan.
Exactly.
27-24 in this game. Detroit actually had a bigger lead. Philadelphia was able to put back a little bit of a comeback. But, you know, high-scoring game, 51 points in this game. The over-under in this one was 48. So this is pretty good in terms of that. We called it an under, but it was an over.
That's the thing. Like, I did pick Detroit, but I think still Philly's the better team. I think Philly just had injuries with Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Watson. And to be fair, or Deshaun Jackson, sorry. But to be fair, he had a great game passing the ball. Like, absolutely. Like, he looked awesome out there. He was moving around. Like, he didn't throw any interceptions once. Like, he looked great. Aguilar had a huge game. And it was just, they just don't have that running game. And I feel like when they had Ajayi and Blunt, it felt like just more of a power running game. I just don't feel it with Jordan Howard.
He got one, but he didn't. No, he's not a power back.
It just feels like it's this missing thing. Like, if I were them, they should have gone for LaShawn McCoy. Like, LaShawn McCoy would have been so good back in Philly on that offense. Because look what he's doing in Kansas City.
He's ripping it, yeah.
He's awesome. He's been great. And good on him. Like, I think the Bills are still fine without him. Actually, I kind of wish they had him now the way he's playing. But I just think Philly has a lot of injuries, but I worry about them. Like, I just don't see the defensive. When they won the Super Bowl, they were just like all over.
They were pounding. Yeah.
But right now, it looks rough for Philly. My Super Bowl pick does not feel good, and the way Carson Wentz is throwing his body around, I'm afraid he's going to get hurt soon.
I think so too. To me, they remind me of Atlanta from last year. The injuries that have hit them, the fact that they have all these gaps in every sort of field, and it's not just offense, it's defense. They got hit by a bunch of injuries, and now they're struggling to maintain themselves. And the fact is, if it's going to take you a couple weeks to come back from this, and you're facing Green Bay on a Thursday night, not everyone's healthy. You know, this is a game that you're going to rush your guys back for because Philly definitely does not want to lose to Green Bay.
It's going to be a tough.
It's going to be a great game. We will preview it. We can sort of talk about it, but you know, We'll preview. Okay, let's go to the next big one. Big game. We both. Well, you thought it would be the point spread. You agreed with the point spread. I didn't. Baltimore, Kansas City. They were favored by 6.5, but they only won by 5. The final score 33-28. You know, this was a close game as well, and you know what? Lamar Jackson was rushing it around. Kansas City opens up the game. They start blasting, but Baltimore did not go down. Mark Ingram.
Well, the thing is, it was a lot closer than it seems, because at one point it was like 30-10, right? Mm-hmm. So, and Patrick Mahomes just looks even better than last year. He looks incredible. He's lost Tyreek Hill, and even when you lose Tyreek Hill, he's still throwing for 350 and 3 touchdowns. So it's just insane how good he is. Like I'm so, because the worst part about it is the Bills traded the 10th pick with Kansas City, where Kansas City took Mahomes. Mm-hmm. So we could be talking about Mahomes on the Bills, even though he'd probably be shit.
No, yeah, he probably would.
If he didn't have Andy Reid, I think it's good for the NFL. I'm actually glad he went there instead because he's done so well. But I think it was just one of those, Lamar Jackson, this game kind of reminded me of the San Diego, the LA game last year, where he just looked inefficient for the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter, he just went on fire. Like he did this, he got it really close. That rushing touchdown he had was amazing with the spin move. Mm-hmm. But right now, it's the thing. What I said, I think I said it last week, where if you need Lamar Jackson to get in a throwing battle, he's against Patrick Mahomes.
It's not a fair. But I mean,
it's not a fair fight. Like Patrick Mahomes will beat you. And when Patrick Mahomes got the ball with under 5 minutes left, he just ran out the clock because he could just move it around.
He's got great QB vision.
But actually, still good showing for Baltimore. I think even though you came back and you struggled for a bit, you can build off of that, and you now know you can hang with the big boys, and I think that in itself is a confidence. I can't believe I'm so pro Baltimore this year.
I know, you're just like you got a Baltimore heart on. Look, they did play well. Kansas City did opening up the scoring grade on them, but Baltimore did come back, and they did establish themselves. In terms of the running game was looking good. Mark Ingram was looking good.
Mark Ingram, 3 touchdowns.
And for me, that was great in fantasy. But they came back. It was respectable. This is a future AFC matchup that we're going to see again sometime this season. And it was great. We move on to your game, Cincinnati, Buffalo. I don't even remember.
Oh, no, it's the undefeated
Buffalo Bills who brought up.
I don't get to say that often, so actually, this is the last week I'm going to be able to say
Buffalo has a bit of a lead, right? And then they don't. What happens?
Well, they actually pulled the Jets. They did the reverse to themselves. They had a 14-0 lead. Then they went down. It's just they started off really good. They were passing it. And the thing about the Bills, what I'll say is, what's really impressed me the most about them is that they have long drives. Like a lot of their drives are 70 yards, 80 yards. They've had a 98-yard drive. They're moving the ball really well. Josh Allen, for a guy who everyone said is inaccurate, he's in the 60% passing, which is people said he would never do. He looks good, but the problem is now he's going against Bill. We'll get to Bill Belichick. But at this, you know what? I think the problem with the Bills is the third quarter where they have a lead, and like other teams, like a Kansas City, like a New England, they don't go for the jugular. Like when you have that lead, they get a bit more conservative. They're handing it off more. Yeah. They're not really like Josh Allen was terrible in the third quarter. The Bills have been terrible in the third quarter, and they've been amazing in the fourth quarter, and that is the most important thing I've gotten out of Josh Allen is that in the fourth quarter when he has to do a comeback to win the game, he's shown up.
Yeah, I know he has. He's been consistent. He's got good clock management skills. He's got pacing.
A really important thing. Like I genuinely now feel like, from being a Bills fan for about 20 years, when they were down in the fourth quarter and needed a drive, it never happened. Yeah. And I knew that. But with Josh Allen, I'm now open to it. I'm like, okay, I think let's see what you can do. He's got a big test this week, but I think to get to 3-0 in Buffalo, big win. Frank Gore stepped in. They had no Devin Singletary, so Frank Gore, the ageless wonder. You gotta love Frank Gore.
Oh yeah,
75 yards and a touchdown. So again, Tre'Davious White, 2 interceptions. Bills' defense is solid. Cincinnati's just... It's just a tough year for them.
It's a tough year for the Bengals. The Bengals, they
got no AJ, and if they had AJ Green, they might have won this game.
But it showed the poise of Andy Dalton to come back down 14 points and be able to put together some drives, be able to snap that ball.
Andy Dalton's one of those guys that he'd be really. I'm very, very interested to see what team he goes to next.
He's
not going to stay. He's not like, obviously Cincinnati this year. I think he'll draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think Andy Dalton, let's just say, with someone like Sean Payton.
Yeah.
In case, I think Andy Dalton could be really good.
I think he's
Sean
good for the
Payton.
Bears as well, but he reminds me of an Uber driver you find out's a doctor. You're like, oh my God, really? You're like, oh, you're so clever and good. What are you doing here? You know, and that's sort of the feeling you get with
absolutely.
Cincinnati now that you're going, what are you doing here? What's going on?
So I'm almost more interested in his second part of his life.
Sure, his the next saga of the book.
The next saga, yeah.
Moving on now, Atlanta, Indianapolis. Hey man, we knew this one was going to be a tough one. This was a slugfest. The Colts were favored by 1.5 points, and they sure enough overcame this one.
You know, I'm gonna stop picking Atlanta. I always pick Atlanta. I think it's because of our friend Chapman.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Make him feel good?
Yeah, trying to give him hope.
Hey,
But I was
buddy,
watching
hey,
it with
now.
him. And I was watching it with him, and it just, like Atlanta just was doing nothing.
How many times did he say the C word?
No, he didn't. He's a gentleman watcher.
He's
a gentleman watcher. But the thing is, the thing that impressed me the most of this is Jacoby Brissett. Because I think everyone just wanted to shit on him and just be like, oh, Andrew Luck's gone, you got nothing. But Jacoby Brissett has been pretty solid. Like, really accurate. Moved it down. The problem is he's lost T.Y. Hilton with an injury.
Yeah.
You know, Marlon Mack looked good. That defense looked solid. They were at home. They took care of business. And that's what you got to do. In the NFL, when you're at home, you got to take care of business.
It was good pacing. They were able to manage the clock well. They were able to manage Atlanta well. And you know what? Atlanta, they did take their stabs. It was a hot and go game, man. You're talking 51 points. So this was a back and forth, 27-24, respectable. But at the end of the day, when the Indianapolis Colts they win it.
It just Atlanta, like, they didn't get Calvert really, and it just felt like they didn't have that killer instinct. And something feels just wrong with Matt Ryan. It just doesn't feel as good. Like, even last year, everyone said he was bad, but he was good. He had a really good year last year. This year just doesn't feel the same. Like, Julio should have done better. They should have beaten. This is a game, especially with Carolina and New Orleans with Breeze out. This is an opportunity. You got to win these games. You got to take advantage of them, and because that division is up for grabs.
It totally is. But when you have a weak, and I've talked about this before, they have a weak offensive line, and you were watching guys were pillaring through that line. It was just cutting through them. And Matt Ryan used to have a good offensive line. He does not have that. They're getting through too quickly. He doesn't have guys that are blocking him, and that's going to be. He's always rushed, and when you've got an older quarterback, he needs Metamucil. He needs a little time. Moving on to the next one, Oakland, Minnesota. Is this really a game? I mean, Minnesota dominated. They had to after getting shellacked by the Packers the week before. Yeah. But Oakland is the kicking.
It just kind of feels now. It feels now like Oakland's becoming the team everyone thought they were going to be. Yeah. Like that team that just gets. It's like, because to be fair with them, like they got with Antonio Brown, Oakland's a competitive team. I think. Like Josh Jacobs has been really good.
Yeah.
But right now, like, who's Derek Carr going to throw? And Derek Carr's been put in a bad spot now because I really think Oakland's going to move on from him after this year.
Yeah.
I think this is the last year we've seen Derek Carr, and I think it's probably the best thing for both of them.
Sure.
Because I think Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. Like, again, he's a guy that, let's say, like you have. For example, you have Big Ben who suffered an injury. You know, Drew Brees. Derek Carr's like a guy. He walks into Pittsburgh. Derek Carr can make Pittsburgh a competitor. Like, I think right now with Gruden, I don't think Gruden loves him.
No.
I don't think it's a match. He's got no weapons on offense. Like, if you're expecting like Waller and Tyrell Williams to be your weapons, like, and Tyrell Williams was supposed to be good because you had Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think Oakland's just now in for a tough couple of weeks, and then they got the Bears coming up in
London going down,
which is going to be hopefully going.
We're throwing after parties for London game, by the way. If you want to watch parties before or after the Bears Raiders game, let us know. We've got some stuff. We
will have tissues on the table.
Yeah. Look, Derek, I agree with you, but Derek Carr, he's like that adopted kid that came into the new family. You know, the step kid that's going on. He's got John Gruden who initially accepts him, but then at the end of the night, before he goes to bed, is mushroom stamping his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know. But you're right. You probably will pass on from him because it's not part of the legacy. When they move to Vegas, it doesn't seem like Carr's going to come with them.
Right.
You know, like
no, it doesnn't.
Get in the car, everyone. Not you.
Not you. But Minnesota, good on Minnesota. Dalvin Cook still looked great.
Adam Thielen
good. Adam Thielen looked good. But Diggs is a bit of a concern because he's not producing like he was last year. He just feels lost.
It's getting the separation.
But then again, it's just right now. Yeah, they're 2-1. It was a big win, but it doesn't. I still need to see Kirk Cousins beat a big team. And
Yeah.
until I see Kirk Cousins take down a big dog, I'm still sheepish.
Well, I'm planning. I don't know if this is a prediction. This is a novelty, a prop bet we call it here. I think he's going to be handicapped on Sunday. I'm just kidding.
Is he paralyzed?
Yeah, the Khalil Mack.
Can you bet
we'll
that
get
if
into the
it's
Bears
on
defense later. You can't actually.
Imagine
you can't bet
that.
on paralysis.
Yeah, the
but maybe
ambulance
you're
comes on the field and you're
Me,
just
me, me.
dancing and you're just doing
It's
it.
like when the old NHL game when the ambulance
Well,
used
no,
to
it's
come
not.
on NHL '96.
Yeah, they
remember
used to do that in the old
Used to hit
Madden
him.
too.
Yeah, the old
Madden one, and it would actually plow about 80% of the players.
go right through everybody.
Just to get to the guy. It was absolutely hilarious.
I didn't check this one because I haven't watched this game yet. New York Jets at New England. Who won? Jesus. Well, actually, the Jets. You know what? They kept it tight
Wow, only
for a while.
from a kicker turn? Was it punt return?
Yeah.
Defensive.
But you know what? They were
six,
keeping they were getting them punting a bit, so that kept Tom
That's
Brady.
why this is really funny. Is that the Bills and they're literally Bills and Patriots next week are literally playing each other with the teams they played against have a combined 1-5 record.
Yeah.
Which is just embarrassing.
Sure.
Right? So really, that's why it's an interesting test for them. New England, again, no one expected anything different. Again, they have injuries. Julian Edelman went out with the chest injury, so you don't really know if it's ribs. Like that could be something that keeps him out. So he's 34 years old. He's not healing as fast.
No, he's not.
So I think they're still. I think now that Antonio Brown's gone, even though they got 30 points on the Jets, no respect to it, I think this week against Buffalo will be a more let's see who New England is.
Sure,
if they come out and murder Buffalo like they always do, then it's like, okay, they're for real. But I think Buffalo can give them a game. I think the Jets just right now are we just got to wait till Sam Darnold comes back because we can't judge them.
No.
Because the team is about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's the future. So I'm not going to say anything about the Jets until I see Sam Darnold because it's pointless. What's the point?
Falk has a noodle arm. He didn't play horribly. He didn't mess it
Well,
up
he
too
didn't
bad.
get
But
it.
Again,
He
when it
scored
comes
no
down to
points,
the
all right?
Patriots were still able to move the ball around to a bunch of different guys. They're able to move to Michelle and Burkhead. They're still able to throw the ball around. There's, you've got enough guys. They've got enough variance in this team.
And their defense, if you had 3 games plus Super Bowl, haven't let up a touchdown in 4
They're
games.
ridiculous. That defense, the way that they stunt and the way that they move
It's
that defense
insane,
around,
so-
it is crazy. It's one of the scariest defenses to watch.
That's
Them, the
why I'm not
Packers, and the
sleeping on it.
Bears.
That's why I'm
Them,
not
the
sleeping
Packers,
on
and the Bears. They're crazy defenses. All right, we move on to the next game, which was Miami-Dallas.
Again.
Miami, what's going on? You know what? It's like bales of cocaine are washing up in the shores, and they just don't care anymore.
It was a rough game. They won 6. The spread was 22.5, and they said like not even. They're like the first team to cover that type of spread in God knows how long.
Yeah.
So to be in the 20s is like college football territory. Like it's embarrassing. Miami, what can you say about them? Like they're done. Like they're not going to be able to do anything. It's going to be terrible. Like if I was a Dolphins fan, would you even watch? Like if the Bears were as bad as the Dolphins were this year, would you even turn it on?
So I did when the Bears were bad.
No, I mean,
but I did watch.
No, never this bad.
No, we were bad, but not consistently
That's
as
what I
bad
mean.
as it.
If you were a Miami fan, at one point in the season, you just like, I just can't.
I think
I'm just gonna wait till next year.
I think you get to that point of laughability where you're just, all right, let's see what happens this week.
Because I
you're
guess
just betting on point spread.
I guess the only thing you have right now is you have Josh Rosen. You can cheer for Josh Rosen to become good but it doesn't matter because they're still going to draft a quarterback. They're going to have the number 1 pick. They're going to draft a quarterback. So even if Josh Rosen's good, they're drafting.
They're going to have to. I mean, look, the owners of the team have got to feel this, and they're not going to want to run a team into ignominy. They want their team to do well. So the fans have got to fight back in this. You can't just let your team go. You can't just leave this. I think you still got to go to the games. They've got to work out a pricing fixture for it.
That's why I think week 4 is. To me, the biggest, I wouldn't say the biggest week of the season. It's been 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But because teams like Dallas are going to play New Orleans, New England's going to play Buffalo. Like I think now, we're getting into a bit tougher games, and now we're going to see who these teams are. Because right now, Dallas has played Miami, Washington, the Giants, right? And the Giants with Eli Manning.
Yeah.
And so it has not been and now they're playing New Orleans without Drew Brees.
Yeah.
So. Even though I think Dallas is probably going to win, I think it's going to be tougher because I think that defense is good. But I think you can't take anything out of this. They're playing everyone who plays Miami. And what are you going to watch?
It's a
film?
preseason
You're going to
game.
watch the
Yeah.
film? Like, it literally is pointless.
It is a preseason game, and maybe we should have a relegated league. Maybe within the 32 teams, we add an extra 8 teams that are our preseason teams that you beat up to have fun. Let's move on to the Giants in Tampa Bay. This was one. I was big on.
This is one that every Giant.
I said New York would win.
I absolutely love that Daniel Jones played well.
Yeah.
Because I am so sick of like Twitter and all these guys who think they're scouts who have never won. They're like, oh, his footwork's no good. You don't know anything about football. 90% of the people that trash Daniel Jones know nothing about football. All the analysts, like you watch like the dudes like on ESPN, all the talking head stuff, who are like, oh, Daniel Jones, what are you doing? Because they're just following the lead of everyone else. No one knows. Everyone thought Ryan Leaf was going to be money in the bank. Everyone thought Tim Couch.
He still could be.
Some people,
he still could be.
Yeah, you can make a comeback. But that's what I mean.
It is fault.
Tom Brady went in the 6th round. He was undraftable to some people. No one knows what they're talking about. You can't, because the thing is, you can't measure a man's heart. And that's as far. Daniel Jones, and the thing is, when you get shit on like that, like Josh Allen did, who's playing also better, but a guy like that is a massive chip on your shoulder. Like Tom Brady is Tom Brady because he got drafted in the 6th round.
Sure.
Tom Brady drafted in the 1st round doesn't have 6 rings.
No, he doesn't. And look, you can measure a man's
good
heart.
on Daniel Jones. I love it.
You can measure a man's heart. I did at a corner. Also, Tom Brady. Do you imagine the amount of other quarterbacks drafted in the 6th round to go, I'm the next Tom Brady, man?
Well,
how many times that never worked out?
To be fair, it doesn't happen, but all it takes is one, right? And I think because of Twitter and because Tom Brady back then wouldn't even have been mentioned on Twitter, you know what I mean? But Daniel Jones, because of Twitter and social media and everyone and all these talking head shows that everyone has an opinion, he just got trashed, and I think he heard
it's also New York.
And I think he saw it, and I think. Good on him. He worked it. But let's be honest, you played Tampa Bay. Let's see when you play a big game. Let's see when people get tape on you. But good start and keep going. You know what? I think the Giants fans should apologize to Daniel Jones. The New York Post and all those newspapers should say, I'm sorry.
No papers everywhere, nowhere over the press. Carolina, Arizona. Carolina came out 38-20, man. They were banging. How about a rookie quarterback? How about a new guy doing some stuff? Cam Newton watching from his big hat,
Cam Newton,
drinking a cup of soup. He's injured.
Cam Newton's he's a little worried.
Is he done now? Is his career done? I don't know.
Man.
It's tough because he doesn't run anymore. His zip on the ball's gone. He's more interested in fashion.
I think he's done in
think
Carolina. I don't know if he's done in the NFL. I think someone will give him a contract, but I don't think he's done in the NFL. I think he's done in Carolina. I don't know if Kyle Allen is the answer. He had a great first game.
Yeah.
But we will see about what he's really going to be.
It's a real Brexit situation.
Yeah,
no one don't even know what the hell's going on.
No one had a lot of film on Kyle Allen. But I think...
And it's against Arizona.
I think Cam's got to be watching that, thinking about his next play now. But then again, he should take the rest of this year off. I don't think if Kyle Allen keeps playing this way, he's not coming back in, Cam. And it's going to really cause a problem. Like, I don't know how Cam's going to
There's some issues. I don't know if it's mental issues or whatever it is, but he is playing on a different level with a different attitude than he used to have.
But where does Cam go next year? Like, that's the
broadcasting.
Question. No, like, and that's again, like, Cam Newton's taken a lot of hits. He's taken a lot of injuries. Yeah. And because he's been a running quarterback, he's been sacked a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and he's only 30. When you have Tom Brady playing at 42, that's 12 years.
Yeah. He could be his son in Alabama.
Yeah, playing junior football.
Yeah. That's my boy!
So, but it was disappointing. I thought Arizona was going to win. I thought Kyler Murray at home. Right now, I don't know what... Like, Kyler Murray's all right. But from what you watch the college highlights of him running around, deking out people, moving up...
You can't do that in the NFL. He's not doing that in the NFL. Well, you can't do that in the NFL.
It doesn't feel like he's as dynamic as you think. Right now, you just have it looks like you just have a short quarterback who can't run.
Well, you're not running away in college football. You're not running away from an 18-year-old kid who's only 200 pounds. You know, this is different. This is the NFL.
Yeah, they're playing against the best of the best.
You're playing the best. So
I think big win for Carolina, but Arizona, oh man, it's ugly.
Arizona's
and right now season. With Cliff Kingsbury, who was like, oh, I'm going to bring this air raid offense.
Yeah.
You're 0-3. Oh no, 0-2-1.
So here's a game. We talked about this. You chose Seattle. I chose New Orleans. Hey, New Orleans likes this sucker up. 33-27. We watched this. We're watching this game. Great game. Teddy Bridgewater, good game. Running game, Alvin Kamara. Russell Wilson still played well. You're talking a game where they got 60 points in this sucker.
Yeah, this is a worrisome game for Seattle because you got to beat New Orleans without Drew Brees. If you're Russell Wilson, you got to beat New Orleans without Drew Brees because you're supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And then again, and their defense is just, getting Jadeveon Clowney. I haven't really seen him.
No, the defense has not stepped up.
Even though they haven't traded a third-round pick, but right now he's not living up to the expectations of him.
Yeah.
Seattle is one of those teams. Like, I love Russell Wilson takes control of games, but I don't know where they're going to be at the end of the year because they barely beat Cincinnati. They beat Pittsburgh, but again, it was close, and now they lose this game. So it's just, I don't know where they're going to be in a couple weeks. I think Russell Wilson still needs help at receiver.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that's going to come. Chris Carson's has a fumbling problem, so now do you go to Rashard Penny? There's a lot of questions now that have just popped up in
the
Seattle.
Offensive line is really...
When they were 2-0, everything was great. And now this one loss against Teddy Bridgewater, who, to be fair, big win. And I think because Drew Brees is out, 6 weeks?
Yeah, 6 weeks.
6 weeks. So... big win. Go 3-3. Give it back to Drew Brees. They're back in the driver's seat. So I think it's good for him, especially it was in Seattle.
It was in Seattle. It was good. I mean, look, the offensive line for Seattle is still having a lot of problems. They're getting the quarterback too quickly. That's also stopping the run. They're not able to motivate. They're not able to get the ball going. And New Orleans Saints, who have a great defense, were able to capitalize on this. They moved the ball well. They got the running game going well. New Orleans is looking forward to this. I kind of, I'm not going to make my picks yet for Thursday or for the weekend, but I kind of like them against Dallas. We'll see what happens. I think their defense will shake some stuff up. Let's move on to our next game. Houston, the Chargers. How about this game? This was a pretty good game, 27-20. This is pretty close, but Deshaun Watson, man,
this is a great bet. It was Houston 3.5, and I was like, I love this because right now, I don't know the Chargers has just been that team like.
They're all over. You don't know what the identity is.
What it was is when they got their asses handed to them by New England, I was out. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with the Chargers because I don't see how it's going to change.
Yeah.
I don't. And right now, it doesn't look like it. I think even though Melvin Gordon's out, they're not dynamic. Mike Williams hasn't really done nothing. He's barely been playing. They lost Hunter Henry, who's been out. Phillip Rivers looks all right.
Hunter Henry's injured a lot.
Even Bosa and Ingram aren't dominating.
No.
They've lost Derwin James. They've lost Russell Okung. They've just lost so many injuries. And Anthony Lynn, to me, just doesn't inspire me like he's this guy that's going to take you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's this tactician that's going to outmaneuver everyone. Again, Deshaun Watson, great game. Doing his thing. Love Deshaun Watson. Love that Houston won this game. It was a massive win for them, especially in that division. On the road, AFC wins are huge. So, again, I'm excited to see just Deshaun Watson because I don't really like Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
But let's just see what they keep going because that was a big win, especially in the AFC.
It was very good win.
Tiebreakers.
Amazing good win for them. LA is playing like their fans want them to. They don't seem to have that motivation. He said the injuries are coupling on them. They don't seem to have the sustainability with their drives. Houston, though, they're good, but I just wonder if the fallout is going to happen down because the offensive line is not protecting Deshaun Watson as well. So they're going to have interesting games. We move to this next one, Pittsburgh and the 49ers. Tight game in this one. San Fran was favored by 6.5. That's a big spread.
That's a big spread, really?
Yeah, it was 6.5 because they just figured big.
Yes, I did. I bet Pittsburgh on this. That's why I won my game. This again, San Francisco. You know what the most impressive thing about it is their running game. They're just using everyone.
Just so you can see what the score. What did I predict in that score was?
What was it? 24-21? 24-20. Yeah, very close.
I was 1 point off in the exact score.
Again, Jimmy Garoppolo, big game. I think he needed this. I think a lot of people have been doubting him and just being like, can this guy stay healthy? Can he move the ball around? San Francisco's look good. And you gotta give him credit. They're 3-0.
3-0.
They beat Pittsburgh. I think right now Pittsburgh's really feeling stupid about trading that number 1 pick. Because right now, at this pace, Miami's going to have 2 in the top 10.
Yeah, they'll be the next Oakland.
So, sure. Yeah, Mika Fitzpatrick got a really good game. And I think he had a fumble recovery in this game. But right now, Pittsburgh's just identity guys. I wouldn't feel good if I had Juju Smith-Schuster. I have James Conner in fantasy. He's been a disaster.
Yeah, no.
He's fumbling. He's just not feeling like he's going to do it. And right now, Pittsburgh, it's just... What is there to be excited about? Mason Rudolph was fine, but San Francisco, did what they had to do. They took care of business against an opponent with a weakness, and they won. So good on San Francisco.
Steelers are 0-3 now. And
That's what
when's
I'm
the
saying.
last time they've been 0-3?
That's what I'm saying.
Start
And they
season.
traded their first round
So
pick.
Mike Tomlin's going to come out. I will be talking about them in my picks because I got some ideas about them for next week. But 0-3 is a bad way to go across. San Francisco 3-0, two opposite sides of the dimension. But are they really 3-0?
That's right. They're one of those teams, just kind of like Buffalo, where
we don't know until it gets.
Let's see
the 10 games. Let's see what happens.
Well, let's
All
see
right.
after week 4.
So we move on to the Rams and the Browns. A tight one in this one, a lot tighter than it should have been.
Yeah.
Jared Goff does not look like the same. He's not putting up the
Well,
same points, the
yeah,
same stuff. But they
yeah,
end up
it's
beating
just-
the Super Bowl favored Cleveland Browns 20-13.
Yeah, Todd Gurley was just doesn't feel the same.
No.
I think he had like 14 carries for like 40 yards. It just doesn't feel. Again, Freddie Kitchens, what are you doing with your giant red face?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with 4th and
They all look like they're sunburned.
I heard a really good theory, which I genuinely think is true. When he did that handoff on 4th and 9,
Yeah.
someone said he probably thought it was 3rd down.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, because that's the only thing that makes sense.
That totally makes sense because we
But,
watch
but to go in a
what the
press
fuck you
conference and say I thought it was 3rd down
Yeah.
makes you look like an idiot. So you have to almost own your stupidity.
doing? Yeah. Well,
So
we
either way, it's a
studied the
lose-
tape and we figured
It's
out
a
in this
lose-lose
position.
situation. Right now, Cleveland just looks lost. Like they have no offensive line. Baker Mayfield, all he does is run around to the right-hand side and
Yeah.
he's just doing nothing. 5 interceptions in the 4th quarter. He just, again, like everyone's just talking. Like Baker Mayfield's in a really interesting spot because right now this team can implode. But Odell Beckham's not going to be happy.
None of them.
Jarvis Landry-
He's not getting the ball. I mean, he's
It's-
making a few good catches, but
It's
he's
a
not making that
potential
much.
disaster waiting in Cleveland because Freddie Kitchens, the big problem with him was, is this guy ready to be a head coach? Because he's never even been an offensive coordinator until he got promoted. So
A lot of hype.
I think it's going to be, I think Cleveland will get better, Baker will get better, but it's
going to take time.
It's going to be rough.
And the Rams are going to have to get it
gonna be
together
rough.
too because they're not the team they were. They're not the team that was putting up 30,
yeah,
40
I'm
points
not
a game.
scared by the Rams.
He does not have the same offensive line. He's getting rattled and people are getting to him.
I'm not scared of it. With the Rams last year, whenever you met up with them, you're like, oh
No.
man, I'm not scared about the Rams. Something's, and then Sean McVay, who's kicking field goals 4th and 1. It's like Sean McVay, you're supposed to be the offensive genius, and you're kicking.
Belichick
field
wouldn't
goals.
do that. He would
Exactly.
never. He would go for it.
WWBBD.
D. That sounds
What
like a
would Bill
fetish.
Belichick do?
Yeah, it sounds like a fetish. All right, Bears, Redskins. Hey, look, the Bears crushed them off the get-go, but it got a little nervous there when they let off the gas a little bit. Mitch Trubisky looked a lot better. He was able to throw the ball around. We were able to get the ball to Gabriel Robinson.
Okay.
It worked out.
It was the perfect game for Mitch Trubisky. It was the game he needed.
Yeah.
It was against an inferior opponent with a defensive problem. Again, the thing I'm worried about is David Montgomery hasn't been that good.
Has not been
The
used at
running
all.
game has been really lacking. I think the Bears have always been a team that prides itself on a good running game. And I think when he had Jordan Howard playing at his best, even with Tariq Cohen's done nothing this year.
No.
He's been absolutely invisible. Tyler Gabriel, 3 touchdowns, which is great, but I think he might have got injured.
He did
So
get
I don't
injured.
know
Had a
how
concussion,
he's
yeah.
going to be. But big win for the Bears again against Washington. Let me see when you're playing a big team next week. So,
Well, Washington's one of
those teams. It's just like, what are you doing? playing
Washington has
Case
been
Keenum?
plucky against other teams. They played really
Right.
well. I think we played them very well. I think
It was
we came out and
the
showed them.
perfect game the Bears needed.
It was good. We do need to get up our running game. We do need to get that running game going.
David
But
Montgomery.
he had a lot of the games and a lot of the moves to me were very telegraphed. I could really see where they were going. You could see when they line up, you're like, you're going to do that. You're going to do this. And we got to get over that. We got to not be so predictable. So this week when we play Minnesota, we won't be that predictable. Ryan and I then will make it quickly our Thursday night pick. It is Philadelphia Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. At Green Bay, it's in Lambeau. Once again, benefit Green Bay. How come we're not having the games in the wintertime?
Well,
Philadelphia, Green Bay's favored by 5.5 points. The over-under is 45.5. You know, Philadelphia obviously still got a few people injured.
yeah, it's gonna be. I think Alshon Jeffrey might play. I think he's kind of questionable game time decision. I'm gonna go Green Bay because I think they're at home and I think it's that to their benefit. I think teams find it really difficult to play them. I want to say, and I think Philadelphia is. You can pass on Philadelphia. You can move the ball on them. The defense hasn't been as dominant. And I think Aaron Rodgers needs a game where he's like, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers is back," because I think he's starting to hear the whispers. It's like no one's afraid of Aaron Rodgers.
No, they're not.
In 3 weeks, no one's talking about Aaron Rodgers.
No.
No,
He's not in the top 15.
He hasn't thrown an interception, which has been great, but he hasn't done anything either. So I think Aaron Rodgers got a chip on his shoulder. He's angry. He's like, I'm going to play a good game this week. My Philly, until I see Deshaun Jackson, until I see any sort of resemblance of a running game, I just can't pick them on the road.
No.
I think Packers are going to win 27-20.
27-20. All right, I've got the Packers winning as well. I don't have it at 6.5. I don't have the 5.5 point coverage though. Philadelphia has got to play. They have to put up something now. They're in desperation zone. You go in at this point and you're losing this much. You want to put at least a show in it.
1-3 is going to be a rough
and you
start.
know that defense is coming for you, so you know that you got to bring their defense for them and look for Cox and those guys to really chase and rattle. I can see a few interceptions, maybe a pick six, but I have Green Bay winning this one 24-20. But I think it's going to be a tight game. Green Bay has got to be humbled at some point. This defense has got to catch up with them. And Philadelphia, man, you've got to put this together. You have Super Bowl aspirations, and everything is falling apart right now. So you need this in week 4 to be able to set the tone, especially on a Thursday when you know you have so much time to recover the following week. That's it for NFL in London. We're going to be at Belushi's Hammersmith this Sunday. Yeah. Bears versus, who are they playing? Patriots. Sorry, Patriots versus Bills. 6 p.m. And then also we'll be watching the Bears versus Minnesota Vikings at 9:30. If you want to book a booth, let us know. We can get your own private TV. That's Wade and Ryan. Reach out, tickle us on all the social media, and we'll see you Sunday, and we'll see you for the next podcast.
Cool.